As you know, Jose was reported missing around 1:45 p.m. yesterday, Sunday afternoon. We immediately dispatched available deputies, detectives, and began a canine search. We received air support from Volusia and Marion counties, as well as canine units from St. John's. Also assisting in the search was the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, the Jacksonville Fire Rescue Department, the Northeast Florida Incident Management Team, and many other entities who came to give us a hand with the search. The searches last night continued until about midnight and resumed around 2 a.m. There was law enforcement presence on scene at all times. Today, we made the decision out of an overabundance of caution to drain the septic tank on the property directly behind me. As the contractor arrived and began probing, one of our investigators saw an area that was overgrown but had a spot that appeared to have been disturbed. Once this discovery was made, it appeared the clean out for the septic tank was actually covered with an improvised cover consisting of some type of a board, a piece of plywood or OSB or something like that. This was in an overgrown area that was covered in brush and was not discovered until just a few moments ago whenever the contractor began probing, looking for the actual clean out site for the septic tank. It was at that point that some of our detectives and the contractor removed some of the debris and dirt that was surrounding the clean out, at which point they began the process of draining the septic tank and found Jose's body submerged. Tonight, if you're so inclined, I'd ask all of you to please pray for not only the family, but also each of the first responders who came and gave selflessly of themselves and volunteered their own time to come and look for this child. That's all I have, and I'll be happy to take any questions if you like.
Sheriff, we believe that the little boy ended up in there accidentally.
The investigation is still ongoing. There's nothing to indicate at this point that there was any type of foul play suspected, but it is still an active investigation, so we'll make that determination at a later date.
Sheriff, is this the home on the property that the family lived on?
Yes, it is.
Did he have to crawl into the septic tank? How high up was it off the ground or in the ground?
So it's actually at ground level. There's a concrete pad that surrounds it, and then around that concrete pad it was overgrown with some weeds, and then apparently covered in some dirt, and then just beneath the layer of dirt there was actually a piece of plywood that had been there for some time, and it appeared it had rotted to the extent that whenever he stepped on it he actually fell in. So after he fell in, it appears as though there was, I guess, some spring in the board itself, and it almost came back into the same position that it would have been in originally.
Approximately how far away was this from his house?
Just an estimate, probably 35 to 40 yards.
Sheriff, how's the family doing right now?
I have not been in contact with them. They were just notified prior to the press conference of Jose's passing. But again, our thoughts and prayers go out to them.
And Sheriff, well, we all understand that the investigation is certainly not concluded. At least initially you're thinking that there was some sort of accidental fall through that board into the septic tank.
That's what it appears like right now, yes.
And I guess the mother was inside with the other child for we don't know how long.
That's our understanding. As we piece together the investigation, hopefully those details will become more clear to us.
You said the decision was made to drain the septic tank. Was that after multiple other areas had been searched? Because there was a pond in the area. Can you kind of describe what was going on?
Sure. So there's multiple bodies of water that surround the property. We had done our best to search those, as well as using some of our air assets who have infrared capability to search the immediate area and the wooded area around the home. And it's not an uncommon practice in this type of investigation where there's a child missing to search the septic tank as well. It was actually one of our leadership team members who made that call to drain the septic tank, and it was at that point that we unfortunately discovered the child's body.
Can you clarify what time that decision was made and the time you exactly found him?
I don't know those exact times, but it was within the last couple of hours.
Why was that decision to check the septic tank today and maybe not last night?
Well, we never had any indication that the septic tank had been disturbed last night. And that brings up another point too. As you're aware, we had an overabundance of canines here. One of the interesting things that we discerned through the canine searches is there was no indication that Jose had left the property. And as I said, this area appeared undisturbed and never gave anyone any indication that there was any way possible that this child could have fallen through the septic tank yesterday.
Sheriff, what's the approximate depth of that septic tank?
I don't know.
Sheriff, we were told that the child only knew Spanish words. Was there any language issues when you guys arrived on scene and communicating with the family and being able to actively look for the child?
No, actually there wasn't. We actually have several Hispanic deputies who are bilingual, and that certainly aided our ability to communicate with the family.
Speaking about your law enforcement officers, you said pray for them as well. How were they all doing? You had several different counties here helping in this search.
You know, this certainly is not the resolution that we had hoped for. It was our hope and our prayer that Jose was still alive and that we would continue this search indefinitely if needed until we found him. And this was certainly the worst possible case scenario as far as outcome.
Sheriff, how many approximately law enforcement officers have been here and manpower put into this over these last 24 hours?
I'd say over the last 24 hours, with all of our resources combined, approximately 120 to 140 officers and a complement of firefighters and search and rescue personnel as well.
And how large has the grid search been for them?
We've actually gone out well, you've seen the helicopter circling over today. I'd say we covered an area during the ground search of at least 1.5 miles to 2 square miles, and no less than probably a 5 to 7 square mile area radius with the helicopters as well.
And if you could speak candidly about how quickly a child can sometimes accidentally get away from their parents, like a scenario like this.
Absolutely. You know, these things happen in just a blink of an eye, and it's terribly unfortunate what's happened here, but it just it serves as a reminder to all of us who have children and our parents that there's never an opportunity to leave them unsupervised or to take your eyes off of them. Otherwise, something unfortunately tragic like this might happen. All right, thank you very much.
Breaking news on WFLA now. Here's JV Buno.
The missing one-year-old in Putnam County, Florida, found dead. Live over Putnam County, Florida, is our sister station WESH, flying out of Orlando. This for missing one-year-old Jose Lara, who we told you about on WFLA.com, was missing over the weekend. A tragic update here for you folks on WFLA Now. We went live, and I'll show you here. This is actually from, let's just go back to a shot from Putnam County, Florida. We originally went live because we had heard that there might be an update in the Jose Lara disappearance. Go back now to our sister station, WESH. Again, they were flying the chopper. Let me explain how this all happened. This was a missing one-year-old, a frantic search for a missing one-year-old out of Putnam County, Florida. That's east of Gainesville, for those of you who know the lay of the land here in Florida. WESH had sent their chopper up in the air because there was this expansive search that was underway in Putnam County. That's why the chopper is in the air to begin with. And then in the last several minutes, things really changed. The Putnam County Sheriff announcing there in this press conference that I think what was originally set to be another urgent call to the public to help look for Jose Lara, it is now the news that, of course, the family feared, that we all feared, that one-year-old Jose Lara has been found dead not too far away from his home here in Putnam County. Again, showing you a picture of the one-year-old. This is Jose. And this is an extraordinarily tragic story for, of course, the Lara family, but we'll kind of go through what they just announced in this press conference. There was an area near the home and in the area of the home and not too far away from where that press conference was just conducted, where there was a septic tank that was covered by some brush, some debris, and a piece of plywood, according to the Putnam County Sheriff. And they had noticed that the area had been quote unquote disturbed. Now, what they mean by that is that they had fears, and their fears would become realized when they drained the septic tank. That they believe that it's the way that they have announced this is that Jose Lara is believed to have fallen into that septic tank, perhaps from that piece of plywood that was there over the septic tank. So just a tragic story here in Putnam County, Florida. You might have seen it over the weekend. There was this frantic this urgent. Anytime you have a missing child alert, a Florida missing child alert put out, of course it's going to be urgent. Of course it's going to be frantic. In this case, we had a missing 1-year-old out of Putnam County. News started getting shared everywhere to be on the lookout. And this was the photo that you might have seen make the rounds on social media. And it turns out, and as we have talked about with other missing person cases in Florida and beyond, so often is that missing person found not too far away from their origin location. Again, this one being right here in Putnam County, Florida. So just an absolutely devastating piece of news for the family. And you can see there too from the Putnam County Sheriff, it was just difficult to articulate to the public that they had just found the body of this missing 1-year-old. Just think about, it's very painful to think about. This was in the area of South Highway 17 in Crescent City. The alert went out to be on the lookout for a boy with blue shirt, blue pants, blue shoes, just about 3 feet tall, 30 pounds. I mean, all of the particulars went out in the hopes of finding Jose alive. And it turns out that this is likely, based on everything that we know at this time, based on what they just announced at the press conference here, that this is just all a massive accident, a tragic and fatal accident that occurred not too far away from Jose's home. So the septic tank was said to be covered by some brush, an area of brush. You heard one of the reporters there ask, why wasn't this area searched sooner? They didn't think that it was, it was upon further evaluation that they noticed that the area was quote unquote disturbed, which means that somebody had recently perhaps made their way through this brush or through this area of debris, and they had noticed that the piece of plywood was, I believe it was out of position. It wasn't where it was intended to be. And then, of course, you have the 1-year-old falling into the septic tank. And when they drain the septic tank, just a very, very grim and tragic discovery, I'm sure, for with employees with the Putnam County Sheriff's Office finding the small body of missing 1-year-old Jose Lara. So I know that there's tons of comments, a lot of folks in the comment section who are sending prayers. I'm seeing in our comment section a lot of heart and prayer emojis. Can't even begin to describe what this family might be going through at this time. Again, we'll just show you just some of the lay of the land here in Putnam County. This is from our sister station, WESH, who, again, they went up and started feeding back aerials because there was hope that they were going to perhaps find Jose wandering about somewhere. When this news broke over the weekend, the hope was that they, of course, were going to find him alive just somewhere in Putnam County. And of course, now we get the absolutely just gut-wrenching news that the 1-year-old has been found deceased. So really sad to pass this news along here to you folks. We were, and you might have seen the share to help banners flashing on screen. We were fully prepared to try to help use social media, get the share count up, get the retweet count up. We were trying to do everything that we could to get the picture of Jose here out to as many people as possible. So many times, especially with it being a weekend story, there were a lot of people that were completely unaware that a 1-year-old had gone missing in Florida. So we were trying to do our part. Now with the calendar turning over to this Monday, March 28th, we were trying to do our part to spread the word, try to use social media to its biggest benefit when it comes to missing persons cases, and as far as spreading information very, very quickly, spreading images like this one very, very quickly. And it was really in the last few minutes, or the few minutes before the press conference began, where everything began to change. And it was the Putnam County Sheriff coming up to the podium to announce that they had, in fact, found 1-year-old Jose Lara, and they had found him deceased not too far away from where he was standing, where the actual home was located there in Crescent City, Florida. Folks, wish I had better news to share with you. We're, of course, going to follow our sister stations as far as all the reporting on this. This is outside of our coverage area. This is in Putnam County, which is northeast of the Tampa Bay area, east of Gainesville, where, of course, the University of Florida is located. For those of you unfamiliar with the lay of the land here in Florida, that's where this is. And we'll, of course, continue to follow some of the reports coming out of the Crescent City, Putnam County area with more on this. But at this time, based on what we have just heard in this press conference from the Putnam County Sheriff's Office, this is believed to be, at this time, a terrible, tragic accident. They will, of course, investigate it thoroughly, but they have found the body of 1-year-old Jose Lara. If there's any changes to this story, any updates, we'll make it available to you on WFLA.com, the WFLA app. Thanks so much for joining us.